prices also increase. And that's it for climate news and what is happening across the globe.
Stories that you can find in our papers this morning, because the New Vision at the front page today is highlighting the 2026 polls. The Electoral Commission is set to use new NIRA data. Now, the move is to ensure a credible election, according to the ICT Minister, Chris Baryomosi. Also, marriage clerics cite reasons for many divorce cases. Which reasons are those? Find details in the New Vision. Now, also, Oxfam commits 81.4 billion Ugandan shillings to Ugandan SMEs as Lango unveils new Paramount Chief, a pictorial of the new Paramount Chief at the front page of the New Vision. 2,175 patients escaped from Butabika in 1 year. An interesting report that is in today's New Vision. Then why Hoima teachers laid down their tools. Find more from today's New Vision. Then elsewhere, the Daily Monitor, Parliament to vote on new taxes today. The excise duty, there is a proposal to increase the tax levied on a litre of kerosene or paraffin from 200 shillings to 500 shillings, which is among the issues that will be discussed in Parliament as Parliament reconvenes to pass the Excise Duty Amendment Bill of 2024. Then also, counting against all odds, census continues. Find out more of how the enumerators have the issues and cases that the enumerators are citing as challenges during the census. Then Matters Day, over 700 Nebi pilgrims start walk to Namugongo. As regional in Mulanda sub-county, that has given Tororo big wings in government since Obote regime. Then how 6 siblings died in Kajansi house fire. Find out another report, how the Uganda internet link routed from Europe. That is also with today's Daily Monitor. Now, the Daily Nation in Kenya is highlighting the budget. No money for school feeding, as Ministry of Education has appealed to MPs to reinstate funding for program. But Gachagua's office gets 2.6 billion for renovation and cars. The government critics hit at the deputy president's expenditure. Now, also, dispute, Kipchoge dragged in court fight over matrimonial land. Then in the Premier League, City still crucial win as Premiership title race goes down to the wire. Then poll shows Biden and Trump neck. The poll shows Biden and Trump neck by neck ahead of November U.S. elections. Help end salary protests by JSS teachers. And then Capet asks the members of parliament. Lastly, from our press review, The Citizen in Tanzania, how Usiri brothers are steadily building $1 billion fintech. Then internationally, the EU has urged Israel to end Rafah operation immediately as the East African community turns to take to curb $6 billion illicit trade. Then also, new employees and promotions push up Home Affairs budget as insurance firms upbeat after swift first quarter growth as the electoral body set to update voter register in Tanzania. And well, that is it from the local news international as well as our press review this morning. Now we take you to a throwback song of the day. This one is coming in from Radio and Weasel, Breath Away. And we'll be right back with our newsroll. Stick around. Good morning.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
I can be your African Michael Jackson, can be your black John Lennon. I can be your African Michael Jackson, can be your black John Lennon. Girl, you take my breath away. I wanna love you night and day. You are my sunshine and day. Yeah. You give me light night and day. You're a beauty I've never seen with me eyes. You're meant for me, see you're my perfect size. Come.
A very good morning to you, Mwasuze Mtia, Muride Muta, Habarigani, East Africa. Good morning, welcome on board to Good Morning Uganda this fruitful Tuesday, the 30th of April 2024. We are here to make sure that you are inspired on the last day of the month of April. 4 months down the road, so that means tomorrow we shall officially be in the month of May. Also, to remind you, we have 9 days to the census here in Uganda. How prepared are you? How ready are you to be counted? You need to join the count so that you can help the government make proper accountability for you, our dear Ugandans. The last census that we had was 10 years back in 2014. I don't know what you was doing at that time, but well, it was the last census we did have as a country. But nonetheless, I am glad you are glued to your national broadcaster this particular time on a Tuesday morning. We are live here from Broadcast House at Nile Avenue, and you, our viewer, are just on time to kickstart off your morning with us here as well. I don't know how prepared you are to get geared up for the new month, and of course for the salary earners, for the people who are going to be celebrated tomorrow, workers or the laborers. I want to believe this is the right day for some of us to start making the phone calls and sending in messages to check in on you, to see how you're doing and how the week is definitely faring for you. I want to believe this week is going to be a good one, not only because the month is actually starting with a public holiday, but after the start of the month, we shall only be having 2 days, then we jump into the weekend. How exciting that is, if you are to ask me. But well, of course, as we kick start of the show, you get to realize that lots of news and information has been making rounds all over the media, and of course, I'm here to make sure that I share a light with you. I'll be in here to represent the team: Robert Chirabo Nyonyi Intono, Olive Monica Najuma, Chantal Olive Akandinda, and of course to make sure that we inspire your morning and give you all that you need. I am Joram Paul Sonko. Now, making rounds across the media world is the fact that there was an armed assailant who was shot dead while threatening family of 5. Now, as we are moving into holiday time, you get to realize that such news does not really put us in the right place, especially for parents and guardians who have just received their children for the first term holidays.
Was brought to you by
just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success: the bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hustle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Uganda.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, glad you're keeping your eyes glued on Good Morning Uganda. Here is our newsreel. And newsreel this time around is taking us into conversations rotating around the youth participation in the electoral process. Come 2025, the electoral roadmap will definitely be taking center stage or taking shape, because we will be gearing up for 2026, when the country will get back to the ballot to choose the leaders for the next 5 years till 2031. But well, of course, in this conversation, you get to realize that we also need the young people or the youth to participate fully in this entire electoral process. But how then can we see them engage in this process? My guest this morning is coming in from the African Youth Development Link, and he's the program officer, or he serves as the program officer of the same organization or the same body. And this is none other than Ivan Chibuka. A very good morning, Ivan, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning,
Joram.
Joram. I don't know why I confuse you with Robin. I think
Robin is the gentleman you're speaking to.
I think it's because I've been speaking with him very often. Yeah, thank you so much for hosting me, and good morning to you all.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for introducing me. My name is Ivan Chibuka. I work with the African Youth Development Link. I'm glad to be here to share with my fellow young people.
Okay.
Yes, how best they can meaningfully participate in the governance and development processes.
Okay.
If I could give you a simple brief about the organization.
Sure, no problem.
Yes, we are a youth-focused organization, and our work mainly links young people with governance and development processes of the country. Our biggest aim is to see that there is meaningful youth participation. So meaningful means so much, but ours is to make sure that young people have the correct information on how they can participate in the country, but also how best they can develop as young people, as the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes, like that is the right word.
Exactly.
And have you ever participated in an electoral process or been part of a political kind of transition anywhere in society today?
Thank you so much for that question. I have been part of different electoral processes. I was, if I could name, I was part of the 2016 general elections. I participated, and even the 2021. I did participate, but as a voter.
Okay.
You know, you can participate in these processes, one as a candidate,
yes,
as a voter.
As a voter.
Yes.
Or part of the electoral commission.
Exactly. I think electoral commission,
also
they also
votes.
Uganda,
Yes.
they also vote.
Yes.
So you can participate as a candidate, but also candidates also vote.
Okay.
So I've participated, and I must say that when you participate in these processes, it's not about having your candidate whom you ticked for on the ballot winning.
Okay.
There is a feel it gives you that you're also Ugandan, you're participating in these processes that inform the future of the country.
Okay.
It's not about your candidate, Joram, winning. It's about you participating and you be part of these processes.
And exercising your duty as a citizen.
Exactly, because as a Ugandan and as a democratic society, we are a democratic society here in Uganda. We are governed by law, and the first step towards democracy is voting, is election. People being able to decide who governs them. Okay. So you being able to participate in these processes gives you even the right to talk to government. You feel like you are now entitled as a Ugandan.
Very true.
That is why we tell these young people are all around that these processes are really key. They give you the platform as a young person to feel, to also participate, one, in the affairs of your country, meaningfully and peacefully.
Okay.
Then the other thing, it gives you that right to be citizen. You know,
Uganda.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, the thing about a right is that it is that thing that you can enjoy, and no one can stop you from enjoying it. But you can. No one can come and tell you, Joram, you will not go to vote. No one can.
You know, you've mentioned something to do with participating in the elections in 2016 and 2021. Yes. I, for one, participated in the 2021. That was the first time I participated as a citizen and voluntarily. When you look at some of the Ugandans who are not participating, now I'll first take this question to you. What motivated you to participate first in the elections? Because there are lots of things as to why young people get involved in the elections. And then there are those who deliberately refuse to participate in the elections. And let's look at what motivates one to, you know, what would motivate a young person to engage in politics?
What would what would motivate a young person to engage in politics? So one, I've just told you that you participating, you know, the Constitution, Article 59, gives every citizen of 18 years and above a right to vote. Yes. So you participating in the affairs of the country, one, it serves to show that you are taking up that right. You're exercising your right to vote, to decide who governs you, and this right comes up with an obligation. If you are to enjoy this right, again, you have to take up the initiative to go and vote. Now, what motivates you to go and vote? It's about this country. It is not a personal thing. It's about Uganda. It's about Uganda. So this is a collective responsibility for all of us to decide. Joram, I can't come the next day and tell you, Joram, you're not working on our roads, when I even didn't participate. I will have no... no, we usually call it in law, we call it authority when you're speaking with a background. So these processes inform the future of our country. Why we would rally all young people to go and vote and participate in these processes, that this is not an individual thing. It is a Uganda thing. It is us Ugandans taking charge of what happens in our country. Yes. So, and we want young people to take charge of what happens in their country. It's about taking charge of what happens in your country as it is, as a citizen. Now, if you don't participate in these processes, whom are you leaving them to? You're forfeiting your obligation as a citizen. Exactly.
But, you know, along the way, how confident are you that when you participate in these elections, because when you look at why some of the young people are not participating, one, many of them are not confident of the results that come through, and then two, some of them don't even know the electoral process. They just jump into the things. You know,
some of them, you've said, some of them are not happy about the results.
The results. And you know, you mentioned that it's not all about your candidate passing.
I can confirm to you that those results cannot make everyone happy.
True.
Yes, we at one point we have to agree and disagree about what will come out. Okay. Because, Joram, if I go to tick for you, my feeling is that I want to see you winning. Very so if I see Ivan again emerging as a winner, I will not be happy.
And then there is supposed to be a winner and...
but there is supposed to be a winner and a loser.
True.
Yes. So the thing is, it's like this game that happened over the past few days between Tottenham and Man City. Some people wanted to see the other side, but it happened to be this side. So the thing is, there is supposed to be a winner and a loser.
At the end of the day.
What happened, what matters is we Ugandans, one, when the Electoral Commission comes up and announces these results, it's upon us, one, to take in these results and know that this is the end. The elections, it is not an event that happens. It is a process. we just we mobilize. If you feel you're not happy with the results that have come through, you go again and strategize for the next election, and you see where you need to fix the gaps, so that when the coming election, because as I told you, we are a democratic society, we always hold elections every 5 years. So when you are not happy with the results, first know what has made these results to be how they are. You see, some of the candidates have opted to take up court cases, petitions, and courts have been able to pronounce themselves on these matters. But the other thing, young people, like how you've hinted, young people, some of them are failing to participate because of the lack of information. They don't have the correct information of how, where, and when to vote. Yes, so that is why we are here, actually, to tell these young people of how, when, and where to vote.
Okay.
Yes, so the good thing, the electoral map was released last year by the Electoral Commission, and it has started taking shape. Last time we were having a chat with the Commission, with Mr. Muchongos Julius, and we came to appreciate that the roadmap is moving. They are even going to recruit the polling agents. It is taking shape slowly by slowly. So what we are trying to do is to give these young people the correct information.
Okay.
Yes, the correct information about the elections, so that they can participate with this informed mind.
Okay.
Yes, of where, how, and when to vote.
2021 saw mass participation of the young people into Uganda's electoral process, where many of the young people accepted or deliberately went onto the ballot to vote for their next leaders. On the other side of things, by the way, the young people were also further represented on that ballot paper, because currently in Parliament we also have quite a number of young men and women who are representing different constituencies in the country. And also looking at just the recent reshuffle of the cabinet, you get to realize that youth representation is one thing that you can definitely look at and say, well, we have youth involved in decision making in the country. Now again, 2026 we will be heading to our national elections in Uganda. One would say maybe we shall see more young people engaging in the elections. But my question would be, what strategies can we lay to ensure that the young people participate in the electoral process?
Thank you so much, Joram, for that question. What strategies should we make to ensure that young people participate? The first one, as I've told you, for us, we are here to give these young people this information. And they decide from themselves, I can't come and force you to vote. Yes. It is your right. So we shall give them information and even tell them how important it is to participate in these processes. So the first step, one is to register for the national identification card. And now we have a privilege that NIRA is soon rolling out the mass enrollment and mass renewal of the national ID. So the national ID is what captures your information, and it is what shows that you are actually Ugandan. This card is so important that when the then Minister for Internal Affairs, the late General Ronda Nyakairima, was introducing these cards, he told us that time is going to come when you need even services from a hospital. You have to present a national ID. This card is so important that recently government thought about us and how best we can develop, and they come up with the parish development model. But for you to access funds under the PDM, you need that card. It is what identifies you as a Ugandan, wherever. If you need a SIM card, you need it. If you need a passport, you need that card. If you need a driving license, you need that card. So you register for the national ID. So what we are trying to do is to rally young people to take up this initiative and now that the NIRA has not yet rolled out the mass renewal and mass registration, please visit the nearest NIRA center. NIRA is almost in every district. So you visit that NIRA outlet and have your details captured. So for those who are 16 years and above, they get a card. They get the card. But for those who are 16, 17, but not yet 18, you can get a card, but you can't access the privileges of that card. It's until you clock 18 that you are able to use it to vote, register for a SIM card, but you will have it. So for those who are below 16, to even one day, you get a NIN, National Identification Number, so that when you reach 16 years, you can go and pick your card. One, it helps us because the Electoral Commission, when it's populating the voters register, it is this data that they use. The recent amendment of the Electoral Commission Act gives them that right to extract data from NIRA and use it to populate the voters register.
Okay.
Yes, so when you register for this national ID, just be sure that you will appear, if you're 18 years and above, you will appear on the voters register. That is the first step, because for you to be a voter, you have to appear on the voters register. And there is also the other good thing is that this voters register does not come out of heaven. It comes from us. And when this Electoral Commission comes up with this voters register, they display it on the different polling stations for people to view their details, for corrections, for what. So what we want to do is to rally young people to go and register for the national ID.
Okay.
For those who have never registered, you can register. This mass enrollment is going to take place soon. According to the information,
mass enrollment for the national ID.
For the national ID, the enrollment for the first time, citizens, and also the renewal. It's starting of the card, of the cards. Mine is expiring on the 26th of May, 2025. So this process is running from June 1st. Actually, it is here around
just
the
next
door.
month.
Yes, June 1st. Up to September 2025. That is what the public relations of NIRA says. So this is a good time for us, all of us, to have our IDs, because it helps you participate in these processes, but it will help you also get other benefits. Like how I've said, the PDM, people have been able to access money in the PDM because of these IDs. And if you don't have it, you can't.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's look at schools, universities, institutions of learning. How can we best prepare students for electoral involvement and then also civic engagement?
Thank you, Joram. Young people, according to the National Youth Policy, a youth is a person between 18 and 30. But now the word young people takes up all these people below the age of 30, if I could say. So, for you to have a good generation ahead, you know, we are the leaders of tomorrow, you have to have firm roots. When you're building a house, it is called a foundation. You lay foundation. So it is so of much importance that we empower young people when they are even still in schools, to have these leadership skills, to know their country, to know their civic duties and responsibilities as citizens. And how can we do that? I believe we can do that, one, by reintroducing civic education in schools. We need to tell these young people how a citizen should be, how a citizen should participate, the rights and duties of a citizen. It is not about you being with rights, but you also have duties. If you have a right to determine who leads you, you also have a duty to go and vote for that person. If you remain in your home, you will not have teachers on who leads you. So you have rights, but also duties. How we can put that into young people in universities and schools is, one, to introduce civic education. But as the African Youth Involvement Link, the organization that focuses on linking young people to these processes. We have taken some initiatives together with our partners. We have been able to reach out to some schools, yes, and we are reaching out to more to tell them how best they can participate, to tell them, to bring NIRA closer to them, to capture their details. For those who are 16 and above, to get their details and see how they can secure the national ID. Yeah, I want to implore government on that, again, to keep on giving these discussions about civic education to these people. They need them. They need to know as early as I think this thing should start around senior one. This person should be able to know what awaits him or her when he's of age. The other thing I can hint about is about debates. We used to have debates in schools.
We even have a Uganda Debate Society.
Exactly. So young people could come up and speak out their views on a certain topic. These debates are dying away. So what we need to do is to reintroduce these debates so that young people are engaged. They can voice out their opinion. They can think out of the box. So that when they come of age, Joram, even if you like it or not, we are the leaders of tomorrow. That is without doubt. But we will not be able to represent our people in parliament if we can't debate. A law will come that will going to affect people, but you can't debate because these skills are built over time. So if you build these skills of a young person right from when he or she is in senior one, this person will be able to have these skills when time comes and everything will be on a smooth road. So what we are trying to do is to implore all responsible stakeholders and relevant stakeholders to ensure civic education. But for us, we are trying our best. We are doing civic education in partnership with the Uganda Human Rights Commission, the body that is mandated to do it. And we also doing some vote education. So vote education is mainly about what, when, how, and where to vote. So we are trying to tell young people that, please, this is the right information, and we're trying to equip them with the correct information about voting.
Okay, let's look at the social media. How can we best use it as a tool that many young people are using currently? How can we best use that the social media platforms, to preach and also spread the beauty about engaging in the electoral process and national issues at large?
Thank you so much, for observing that. Actually, quite a number of young people on social media and quite a number of activities and initiatives led by young people are on social media. So we've seen so much. So what we can do to package this social media so that the information reaches young people, because so many of them are there. One, we can put them into youth-friendly formats. You know, young people, there is a way we consume information. Yes, they always tell us that we don't like to read. But now, truth be told, if you put up a very huge poster with so many words, it will not be appealing to a young person.
They want broken down information.
Exactly. You break down information in some simple format that is consumable to young people and put them into social media. Young people will be able to get this information. We can disseminate information about civic and vote education using social media, and it will reach young people very well. How we do it, it's upon us. But I believe social media has that power to give this information to all young people around there, to know what they can do, where they can do it from, and how best they can do it. Social media has that power, and it has proven that, honestly, it is reaching out to everyone, and it is cutting across. Young people are not the only person who are there, though most of them are there, including myself. So this information about vote education and civic education, and how best young people can participate meaningfully in the process. And this non-violent communication, you see government is always giving out information on social media. So many people are no longer buying newspapers. They read news from social media. So if we use social media well...
No, the youth.
Exactly.
There are people who buy the newspapers.
But if we use social media well, we can have this information reach very many people.
Now, let's also look at the pressing issues that the young people are facing in the country today. You know, you do realize that at times the young people have their own issues at hand. And many are unhappy that even when they participate in this electoral process, their issues are never heard. And then not only that, the issues are never worked upon. And the people who represent their views never tend to actually make a follow-up or even, you know, push their agendas forward. When you look at some of the pressing issues, what are some of those that the young people or that we are experiencing in our country?
Thank you, Joram. Speaking of the representatives of young people, I could say representative democracy is having challenges. It is having challenges. Nothing is perfect. It is having challenges. But how you can ensure that your leader is in check is exercising your power. You have the power after 5 years, if you're not happy, to recall him. As young people, we have challenges. The biggest one is unemployment in the country. Young people... universities pass out very many young people into the job market every year, but the jobs are few. So what we are trying to do is to sensitize young people how best they can live. If you're looking for this job, the job might come, today is 2024, 16th May, but the job might come in 2025. So how are you going to live up to 2025? Those ways. We are trying to tell young people, you know, again, the president was also speaking about it. There is land in the villages. You can, agriculture is not for the old people. You can take it up. And it has proven to be profitable. You can take it up and try to do something as you wait for what you studied for to come, as you pray to the Almighty. So we are trying to tell young people to want to be responsible people in the country, and also know that it does not stop there. Unemployment is everywhere, and it is real. It is a challenge to everyone. So how best can young people live? Even the government was so thoughtful that they come up with these interventions that are aimed at curbing this unemployment. One, they come up with programs. I could name the Youth Livelihood Program. So some young people have been able to participate, quite a number of them. The PDM. These programs are all coming up, and they are aimed at curbing the unemployment among young people. But how best can we have this information reach young people? Is using these medias. I must thank you for hosting us, using these medias to tell these young people, yes, this is real, but how can we work around it? Government has been able to help with these programs, but also we have learned you can be doing something. We have also we also have partners who are giving young people soft skills. So when you have that opportunity to give these skills in liquid soap making, in mechanics, in what, please take it up. Okay. If there is an opportunity for you to access funds for PDM, please take it up. That is why we're allowing them to have these national IDs, because at the end of the day, you'll need it to access these programs that will help you get out of this poverty.
Now, as we're putting this conversation to bed, I would ask, How optimistic are you about, the future of democracy in our country, with the fact that now we are having the young people involved in the politics and civic, they are engaging in the civic discussions in the country today, and then also the fact that we want them into the electoral process and understanding it. What is the future, and how optimistic are you that it's bright?
Thank you, Joram. I must say we've tested waters. We got independence in 1962, and we've been able to see how democratic we can be if we are leading ourselves. I must say the future is brighter. Is brighter. But how do we ensure that that future does not get dark? Because it could be brighter, but it can get dark anytime. How do we ensure that? One, we young people, it is without doubt that we are the majority in the country. Recent statistics show that we constitute around 70–80%. So how best can, and we are, again, we are the ones who decide what happens. So how best can we ensure that this future remains brighter? One, meaningfully participating, and know that this Uganda is for all of us. Yes, we have to have this spirit of patriotism for the country. You feel that love for the country, and know that, honestly, I don't have any other country except Uganda. This is our home. So, Joram, young people, we've proven to be, again, we have tried to show what we can do. I must commend the president for appointing our fellow young people to take up these positions. Our National Female Youth MP, Honorable Fiona Nyamutoro, was recently appointed a minister. And she's just a few months into office. I don't know whether she has even made the month, but she's doing some good work. So some people out there have been thinking that we young people don't have the skills, don't have the knowledge, don't have the ability to take up these spaces. But now we are proving them wrong. You see that democracy is doing so good for us. So, one, I believe if we continue this path in the correct way, we shall have a better Uganda.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time and being part of our conversation this morning.
Thank you, John, for inviting me.
And there you have it, Ivan Chibuka, who is a program officer at the African Youth Development Link. Our conversation this morning has been the youth participation in the electoral process. How best can the young people in this country engage in the political process or participate directly or indirectly? And in regards to the indirect bit of it, maybe you can push for others to engage by voting for their leaders, or even standing up and making sure that you represent the views and opinions of those fellow young people. It is a discussion that will never cease to stop, but well, for now, we're heading into a break. When we do return, we have more coming up here on Good Morning Uganda, the Tourism Express, business updates and traffic updates, all in one here on Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
Just take a polite loan of 200K to stock on my shop. the signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome to the GMU Tourism Express. This is the perfect time for you to always tune in and listen to what is happening in the world of travel in Uganda and East Africa at large. So today it is an interesting edition that you're going to know more about the 2024. I'm with Dr. Gesa Simplicius from Uganda Tourism Board, the PRA, to talk to us about poverty. Dr. Gesa, you're so welcome here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be hosted here in this show.
When you talk about the videos, the content that is going to be aired on the airlines like Emirates, Uganda Airlines, how are you integrating storytelling with this expo, this edition, and the whole sector as a whole? Because when you talk about tourism, it is mostly a digital industry. Most of the things can be done online. So promoting Uganda's tourism, we definitely, or we must take on the line of digital marketing, where content creation is what? Is king. So how are you integrating storytelling, the visual storytelling, blogs, those digital marketing tools with this edition of Poverty to promote it, but also the country as a whole?
That is true. The Global Index today is moving towards digital marketing. And Uganda Tourism Board is alive to the fact that we need to take advantage of the new space to reach out to the people that are massively hooked onto online media. Because of that, we've done three things. One, we've first of all internally come up with a special segment called the Digital Hub. The Digital Hub is a creation unit within UTB that specifically brings young like minds that can manage content online, but also be able to use these tools with ease to ensure that UTB's assets are protected, but also given the information we require to map out a clear way forward on how to deal with the online audience. We have, secondly, come up to engage content creators. Content creators reach out to a number of people. First, we want to arm them with information. Information they would not ordinarily have had because it may have been internally generated. Once this information is with us and we reach out to these content creators, they have numerous platforms to cascade this information to their audiences. And once it is in the public domain, we have protracted engagements with people online, giving them By the way, we're saying this baboon is actually a chimpanzee and the gorilla is a chimp. So you see that kind of misinformation. So when someone goes through Mavira or Karuma and catches a baboon, they feel they've tracked a gorilla.
True.
So when you tell them you pay 250,000 to track, they say, but these gorillas are just here in Karuma. Yeah. So that kind of misinformation has been helped by giving up-to-date details about it. So we are creating and giving content to content creators. But we are also engaging journalists. We are doing heavy engagement with all spheres of journalists. Let it be radio DJs, presenters, mainstream reporters, editors, and the people above. We want that entire chain to be educated about tourism, be given the necessary tools, and we reach out to the people to tell these stories in a conversational manner. As we have agreed, tourism is an enjoyment game.
True.
We don't have chance for misery.
Because I feel there is a gap somewhere there in the PR for the tourism industry. Because when you find, I don't think that even other countries don't have bad incidences with the tourists or the tourism sector in other countries. But for us here, when something happens, because people, I think the reporters are not so passionate, it is about getting stories. So I think engaging the journalists could really work. Someone could have a heart. Maybe let me not talk about this. It can kill the sector. It can maybe stop tourists from coming in.
No, that is true. I agree, because some of these things can be helped by having the sixth eye on things. Well, I always tell my colleagues in the US that US is one of the most dangerous countries, because you can be sure that every second you hear a shooting in Minnesota, in Chicago, in New York. There are these shooters that are everywhere. How often do you find people shooting randomly in Uganda? It is almost a hard call to find such incidences happen. But why should we glorify those? But as you have correctly pointed out, we have gone out to do continuous engagement. And we hope that once we do a number of deliberate actions to reach out to the editors, to the news reporters, we shall settle that score.
Okay.
And with time, we should have a more relaxed environment to do business with understanding media. Through PASAID and other like minds, we are having now a forum that has put all communication people together. You find police, UPDF, UTB, Ministry of Health. It has created a platform of harmonizing content and looking at ways we can deliberately see how to have a normal conversation on how we manage content, but also do crisis communication. We don't want to be outing information on our cellular units. When there is Ebola, you find the UTB saying the destination is safe, ministry saying there is an outbreak here, Minister of Tourism coming up with a statement. No, we should have one united front to push out this information. And I'm sure Ugandans may not know that a number of things have happened in the last 2 months. A number of things that no one has been able to see. And they were telling, and previously, these things could be everywhere. So there is a lot going on behind the scenes, and I want to thank the President, PASAID, and people who have taken up the mantle, Minister of ICT, who have taken up the mantle to harmonize this type of communication planning.
That is it that we heard from Dr. Gesa, the head of PR at Uganda Tourism Board. Well, I think it is an opportunity for you to show up at the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo and open up doors that you never thought that you would. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you tomorrow.
Once again, and thank you for joining us. This is time for us to speak business now. Just connecting into the tourism side, the Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, that is Colonel Tom Butime, embarked on a tour of the conservation through commercialization, the commercialization center, and this was in Butambala district. And in there, he voiced concerns over bureaucratic hurdles that are hindering investment in the industrial sector. He also highlighted the need for streamlined operations and collaborating among government entities involved in wildlife conservation. And hopefully this breeds very good news for us, because we all do understand what the tourism sector contributes to our country. And away from that, we talk about matters data usage, and this comes as concerns were raised by TikTokers and headed by MC Stubborn, who appealed to the government to reduce taxes on data to enable these, to enable these creatives, if I may say, be able to innovate and especially use social media to create jobs. This was at a launch of his own event that he named the Best of Stubborn. I think in brackets he put Kalidalu. This took place at Oasis Villa Hotel in Kawempe, and according to many other young people, especially fellow TikTokers, they came out to be creative through social media, and this is how they create content and promote their talent and also try to make some money. So according to MC Stubborn, he urges the government to come out and help them with the data they are buying highly, and to enable them, which doesn't enable them to do what they are supposed to do. And also, called upon fellow youth to come out, who are using social media, to try not to misuse it, because we've all had the cases where one of the TikTokers actually was just released on bail recently because of misusing TikTok, abusing the Kabaka of Uganda, the president, and very many other people in the country. So he urges fellow youth to stop misusing this application, or stop misusing social media. Then also calling upon Ugandans to support him at his show, and that is going to be taking place in Kawempe, and make sure that as a youth, you utilize your talent the way you should. And then away from that, we cross over to Quality Chemicals, and Quality Chemicals Industries Limited reported a 20% increase in profits 6 months after CIPLA had exited. And according to an independent report from the auditors, it is believed that the company before taxation reached 68.28% Uganda shilling percent, and this gave 31.7 billion Uganda shillings, and with a net profit margin of 11.97. That is in the financial year 2024. However, and profit before tax reached 47.8 billion Uganda shillings, and that is in the financial year 2024, beating the previous year's profit of 31.8 billion, and this included a one-off collection of an impaired trade receivable from the government of the Republic of Zambia. Then the profit after tax jumped 67.28% to 31.7 billion Uganda shillings, with a net profit margin of 11.97, up from 18.9 in the financial year 2023, according to an audited financial result from this particular period. Now, despite a decline in contract manufacturing due to softening demand from CIPLA, Quality Chemicals entered into a 3-year manufacturing and supply agreement with CIPLA MedPro, which is now operational. This agreement is expected to drive growth and revenue for the company, and this is going to be happening for the coming years. Then CIPLA's board has recommended a final dividend of 5.7 per share, subjected to approval by shareholders at the annual general meeting, and this annual general meeting is bound to take place in July. That is going to be on the 7th. So hopefully also that breeds very good news for CIPLA. we all do know what has been happening when it comes to CIPLAN. Well, I should say this is good news for the last 2 years that we are seeing this increment in terms of growth. Now, let's go and see how we were faring by closure of business when it comes to Forex. Let's see how different currencies were faring as of yesterday by 5 p.m. when the markets closed. The US dollar closed at 3,758.50 if you were buying, and it was selling at 3.766.50, and then the Great Britain pound was closing at 4,733, selling at 4,746.04 cents. The euro closed at 4,067.82 cents, and that is if you were buying, and selling at 4,078.64. The Kenya shilling closed at 28.95 and was selling at 29 shillings. The Tanzanian shilling was selling at 1.46 and buying at 1.45, and the South African rand selling at 205.21 and buying at 204.66, and that is how we were faring by closure of business yesterday. Now, that is it for our business updates. Check in tomorrow in case you're interested to know what is happening in the business world. For now, we are out, and it's going to be traffic updates coming up. My name is Chantal Olive Akandinda.
Well, good morning. I'm Olive Monica Najuma here with your traffic updates for this morning, and we will start with a traffic tip. And our traffic tip of the day also puts into consideration the part of the road where we are starting from this morning. Now, what you see on your screen is the roundabout of the bypass at Nalia. And as you see that bypass, the road that takes you to Chaliwajala, that takes you from Chaliwajala through Nalia, and then you connect to Ntinda, is extremely narrow and it has corners. So our tip for today is that when you're driving on a narrow road, you need to slow down, reduce your speed, because this will enable you to see the oncoming cars at a good time so that you avoid accidents. But also, when you drive very fast on a narrow road, there are many chances of you actually veering off the road and, of course, losing control and veering off the road. So you need to ensure that you reduce your speed when you're driving along narrow roads. And of course, you have to look out for the oncoming traffic or the cars that are behind you so that you do not cause an accident. And I'm using this road as an example because it is pretty narrow. It has corners, so it's very, and blind spots. So it's very easy for you to miss a car. Sorry, it's very easy for you to have a head-on collision, especially if you're going, let's say, up to the side of Sinabel and someone is coming from that side. There is a blind spot right there that you might miss if you're driving very fast, and you might have a head-on collision. But that being said, now we move on to our traffic updates, and still starting at the roundabout in Nalia around the bypass. What you see there is, for those going to the side of Nalia, there is a smooth flow of traffic around here. I see a bit of yellow zones around the bypass roundabout, but these are most likely because of the traffic lights in this area. Now, continuing with Nalia Road, there is smooth flow of traffic here. And of course, now we go ahead. I see where Nalia Road connects to Majwala Road, there is a traffic jam that is coming through at that corner, but it is not much. It is. It looks like it's coming in from around Ecomart supermarket up until that corner. But when we follow Chiwatule Road now, I see that there is a bit of traffic that is starting to build up. And of course, there is some traffic coming through from Kaduyu Road to join the main Chiwatule Road. And continuing ahead, I see that Mbogo Road is also bringing in some bit of traffic jam to feed into the main Chiwatule Road. Actually, for those coming in from Mbogo Road, you might be stuck for some time because I only see red and yellow zones along this stretch before you join the main Chiwatule Road. Now, going back to the main Chiwatule Road, there is intense traffic jam in this area on both lanes. The lane coming to town has intense traffic jam as evidenced by that red line that you see, but also people going to the side of Chiwatule and Nalia. There is a yellow zone which is indicative of the traffic jam that has built up there. It's not that intense for those going to Nalia, but still you will lose some time. The road around that side is also very narrow. Continuing with the Chiwatule Road, we still have intense traffic jam along that road. Now, we have transitioned into Old Chira Road, and I see for those coming in or going the side of Cannon Road, there is smooth flow of traffic. And looking back at Old Chira Road, it is now all green, indicative of smooth flow of traffic. And Ntinda Chigowa Road is also having smooth flow of traffic. I don't see any yellow or red zones over there. Now, going back to Old Chira Road, this morning looks pretty good. There is still smooth flow of traffic along the Old Chira Road. So we are going to follow this road and see how we get into the areas of Bukoto. I'm starting to experience a few orange zones here, which are indicative of traffic jam that is building up. Now, at the section where Chigobe Road connects to Old Chira Road, there we have some bit of traffic jam that is coming through from Chigobe Road, but the stretch is not that long, so you may not lose so much time in that section. And continuing still with Chigobe Road, I see some sections have orange zones indicative of slow movement of traffic. Now, Ntinda Chisas Road at this right in the middle of Ntinda town, I see this intersection where we have traffic lights, and for those coming through from the side of Stretcher, you will encounter a bit of traffic jam at this section, but it is mainly because of the traffic lights. Continuing with the Bukoto Ntinda Road, I see that for the most part, we have smooth flow of traffic, a few orange zones here and there. But when you go further, these orange zones now transition into a red zone, which indicates traffic jam in this area. So as you move, you need to know that you're going to delay a bit in the areas of Bukoto, because what you see right now is the orange zone that indicates that you might spend a bit of time here. It is not intense traffic jam, but it is that traffic jam where you cannot really drive swiftly because the situation ahead may indicate that you may find traffic jam ahead. Well, that does it for our traffic updates this morning. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I'll be back here on Monday to share the same. For now, enjoy Good Morning Uganda, and Agenda is coming up next.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
Just take a polite loan of 200 to stock my shop. the signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hustle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? Wesotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
PDM, changing lives. UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Maina gangende tibona kiranda Amina mu company Air Web Uganda Limited ndi member. Wemba member company eno weyeida twalinga tutuli bulungi ng'abakyala abe wakawaka. Ng'abakyala abe wakawaka tuemera ku baami baife nga bonkana abajamu nanda nga twidi nti abakyala tebakozesa ki nanda. UN Women weyeida yatuteekateeka yatwegesa okulunda engege ng'abakyala. Twatandika beno okudulunda n'okudirisa n'okolaki. Twafuna mu ng'abakyala aba Bugiri district. Abakyala ba Bugiri district sofa tuli abakyala 14 abakola project eya web. Abakyala 14 twayawula mu sectors. Mulimu abakyala ba production, abaliisa, mwaba abakyala ba validation, abongera engege omutindo bayongerako omutindo. Twaba n'abakyala ba harvesting, aba harvestinga. Twaba n'abakyala abakola aba marketing. Sector dona did trained era did chedikola ki chedikola project eno tufunye mu ng'abakyala government yaife ne Uganda njebaza okujja kujanga batulingirira mu ng'abakyala abana Uganda eri kujanga eturobingira ebibiina bingi. We have UWeb baleta parish development model, we have myoga byona biri kwida muki mu bakyala. oba mu bantu abaki aba Uganda.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome along to our Good Morning Uganda agenda. And well, for all of you who want to know more about the UNA Convention 2024, this is the time, because our conversation is going around the preparations for the UNA Convention 2024 in Washington, D.C., that is in the United States. So for all of you who are having relatives in there and those of you who are gearing up to participate in this year, I want to believe this would be a good conversation that you should follow up. And if you have any questions rotating around the same, please do share them on our WhatsApp number, as we'll be definitely getting through them with my guest this morning. And the guest I'm having is a senior envoy to Uganda for the Uganda North American Association, or UNA, Mr. Kiza Zephania Seninde, who joins us this morning. Just a simple background of my guest this morning. He worked with the Ministry of Works, Transport and Telecommunications, Ministry of Agriculture and Industry and Fisheries, a gentleman who also worked with the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. He also served at the Namuongo Housing Project, also part of the Ministry of Health, Mulago Hospital, and he was also formerly a general manager of the Chiwatule Recreational Center, among other things that you can put up there, part of his CV. He joins us this morning to put us into proper context of the preparations for the UNA Convention this year in Washington. A very good morning, Mr. Kiza, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You are live on UBC, and as we speak of the UNA Convention, the preparations, but before that, say hello to the viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Kiza Zephania Seninde. I'm the Senior Presidential Special Envoy for UNA. I'm the UNA representative in this country, representing our president of UNA, who stays in the US. And I'm glad to be here this morning, and thanks very much for making this place a fantastic place.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure is ours having you this morning. And looking into the convention this 2024, when is it scheduled?
Yeah, the convention is scheduled, that is 30th of August up to the 2nd. But for those who are likely to attend, I would advise them to be in Washington, D.C., at least on the 29th of August, to be there, so that by the day we open, they're already there, they have made their preparation, and then we take off.
Okay. And you've mentioned about them being there in time or on time. My question goes to the before even getting to the preparations, or how prepared are the people in Washington. Let's look at the travel, you know, the travel bit of it. For some of those who are traveling for the first time, or those who have already traveled to the US and are going to travel for maybe the second, third or fourth time, if we are to look at how they are going to participate, what are some of the things they are supposed to be having ahead of the UNA Convention?
Yeah, of course, they need to have a valid passport to allow them to travel well. Secondly, they need to have a visa. Of course, the embassy issues the visa, and when you have to make an appointment for getting a visa, and with that you have to pay 740,000 Uganda shillings to Centenary Bank, so that they can send your name to the embassy for you to go and attend your, to see that you can get a visa.
Okay.
Yes.
And you attend the convention?
Yes, please.
As well. Are there any other attachments that one has to carry moving to the US ahead of the convention?
Yeah, what do you mean by carrying? Carrying when they are going to get a visa? Or?
Yeah, exactly. The documentation.
Yeah, when you are going to get the visa, automatically you have to get a letter like this one. This is an invitation letter which you need. And with this one, you have to pay $240 and that money you either pay to the post bank or you pay to housing finance. The moment you reach there and you talk about UNA, automatically they will know and they will send the money. Say and they put. I request people to put their email clearly. Normally they fail to get back their invitation because of not arranging well their documents. Mostly the email. So we need to make sure that they have done it very well. And with that one, you need to send, as I said, you need to send the money you pay in the post and the Centenary Bank to the embassy. They give the appointment and they give you the appointment date, and it is
and as
very clear.
Mr. Kiza is explaining these documents or requirements, you can easily see as well on the screen what he's actually sharing with us.
That's very good, because there you can see that they tell you exactly what you need to go with to the embassy. You find some people, they go with the unnecessary document to the embassy, and then they leave behind what they need to, and yet it is shown clearly on the form. So make sure that you read the form and understand it very well. If you need to be assisted, please call to our office. They can always use 0772 880-315. They can guide them.
If you can quickly also run for us some of the most necessary bit of the documentations amongst the requirements needed at the embassy.
Yeah, at the embassy, automatically you need to have these photos, and it has to be 5 by 5 and then 2 by 2. You exactly have to go with this size. If you go with any other size, they will send you back to go and get another picture, which will be a wastage of time.
Okay.
Yeah, please make sure that you read on this form, because there's a number of things which I cannot clearly go through.
And on screen is the invitation that you have to receive.
Yeah, the invitation. This is my invitation.
Okay.
So each one who pays the 270, you send the receipt and a copy of your passport, because they have to tally your name with the name in the passport when they are sending you back the invitation.
Okay.
So you make sure you get the invitation through your email.
All right.
Yeah, anybody should not confuse you to write on his email, because Ugandans sometimes are very...
And by the look of things, you have to be very specific with the documents that you have as a Ugandan if you are to travel to the United States ahead of the UNA Convention. Now, Mr. Kiza, let's look into the preparations of what to expect in Washington once the convention kicks off.
Yeah, once the convention kicks off, normally it kicks on Friday.
Okay.
Friday, it is a business day throughout.
Okay.
And you have to pay in $50 for attending that convention. You get lunch and all the rest. So that one, definitely, you need it. And there are some people who are taking some commodities for selling. They can even get a table. That table you either pay $300, depending on the size you want, or $500 for your exhibition. It could be a good idea when you are going. Don't simply go with empty-handed. You need to go with something. People are selling fish. People are selling roasted groundnuts. People are taking so many things, handicrafts, so that when you sell, you make a business.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I was about to ask you, what are some of the benefits attached to being part of the UNA Convention? Or over the years, what has the UNA Convention been able, to help the Ugandans along the way, especially those who have got the chance to travel there and return, and also our brothers who are the other side who get the chance to meet our fellows here? What are some of those benefits attached?
Yeah, the benefit you can get when you attend the UNA convention, we call many rich guys to come and attend the convention.
Okay.
And when they do come, we can always discuss. I can give you an example of me. Whenever I go, I get some investors to come along to Uganda. And
those are both Ugandans in the US and the US natives as well?
Yeah, I get them from the convention and bring them here. Like now you can see there is a fistula hospital in Soroti, which has been constructed through UNA. At my village, we have constructed a technical school. Through those people I get from there, and they come here. They have been assisting our hospitals with so many things. During the convention time, the former president in Rieta managed to get a lot of equipments to come here and help our people, mostly doctors, to get them equipment to use so that they cannot infect or be affected. I mean, there are so many in the agriculture equipment, scholarships are being get from there. So many things we can get from the UN Convention. When we come and interact, whatever is being used, you can imagine, whatever is being used in the convention, printing work, it's being done here in Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah. T-shirts which we're using there, they are being also printed from here. We make sure that whatever we are doing there, at least Ugandans benefit.
And participate fully.
Yes.
So, as you were mentioning about the fact that the convention starts on a weekend, on Friday,
yes,
I should say, besides the business exhibition or the expo, what other activities normally happen during the convention? Because we, some of us who have not got the chance to travel to the US will only hear that we had a convention, but we don't know fully what happens there. Besides the business expo, what else? What are the other activities that happen?
Other business, I told you, okay, many people take their commodities there to sell them and get money. Secondly, we get musicians are being got from here, they go there and they play their music, they sell there, whatever, and so many other things which is being benefited out of this.
Okay. And for the Ugandans in the diaspora, do we have complaints for those who are living in there that they normally share with the team that comes from Uganda? And what are some of those?
Yeah, most of the things where they are complaining, they say when they come back to Uganda here, sometimes are being mishandled by the security fellows. That one, I think it has been handled by the deputy ISO, because we were with him the other time, and it's doing a good work now. Things are reducing. And Ugandans, the most thing they are complaining is about their land. By the time they come back, somebody has built on their land. Others are sleeping, staying in their houses. I mean, the way how things are being done here, we are requesting the government sincerely to make sure that people should not interfere with their riches in Uganda, like land.
You know, I've been looking at some of the editions of the past convention. There's some of the magazines that have actually been given here. One was an edition in Miami. There have been several editions that have been hosted by the Ugandans in the US. Looking at this 2024, what is so special about it in your observation with the preparations that are being put forward?
Yeah, apart from Miami, because every year we go in different states.
Yes.
And different states, we handle it in a different way. How even that state is, you see, there are so many things which we handle. Let's say if like in Miami, when we are in Miami, immediately after we left, there was so many confusion during that time. And I cannot go on commenting on everything, but I think every state has got its way of handling the issues. And it has been doing well, though there are some things which we need to put right.
Okay, and looking at our brothers, let's say Ugandans who are traveling to the US for the first time to attend the UNA convention, you can only imagine if someone is just moving in or moving out of the country for the first time, and this is an experience like no other, I should say. In regards to preparation from the Ugandan side, what advice could you give to those who will be traveling?
Yeah, the advice I have to give them is to come to our office and we guide them.
Okay.
Because if you are not guided and you simply move in the country where you have never been, you might find so many people confusing you and maybe at times take away your things. You need to know how to approach when you are asking. You know, when you get a visa here, it doesn't mean that you already have the permission to enter the country. That one only allows you to fly through there, what? Yes.
For a given period of time?
No. Just flying in the air. But when you go down, that's where you get the permission to enter in the country. And if you fail to answer, they can even send you back to the country. So you have to be very careful the way how you answer and the way how you present yourself.
Okay. Yes. And the officers, where can they find you here in Uganda? The offices that you've been mentioning?
Yeah, they can call me. The official offices, you see, at first they were at Wandegea. But, you know, with the UNA, they do not give any facilitation, let's say, for renting an office. What I managed is to take the office at Kasangat at Kide Boarding Primary School, where I managed to get a room, of course, which is not being paid for.
Okay. Yes. And looking at it from an angle of what needs to be done to ensure that these conversions also bring together quite a number of Ugandans, because if I'm to look back into the reason as to why we have these annual conversions is for Ugandans to get to meet one another, understand the cultures and everything, and also, you know, have business deals and the like. But moving forward, what are some of the issues? You know, you've addressed some issue here in regards to not having offices that are catered for by UNA. What other issues do you think need to be addressed in the long term for those who are part of the conversion?
I don't know exactly what you mean.
No, like what are some of the issues that need to be worked upon in the long run, or what are some of the issues pending that you feel need to be discussed so as for the UNA conversion to grow?
Okay, so what you need is to make sure that you have all the documents which you have been, let's say when you pay the money for the invitation, you need to have that invitation with you. Because with that invitation, it's on which they are going to depend to give you a card which will allow you to move around everything, every corner of every corners of what is going to be worked on in the convention.
Okay.
And secondly, when you are traveling, you need to have your passport. Of course, you cannot travel without a passport. And when you are traveling, be careful with the people you are maybe sitting with them and whatnot, and what you are discussing. Sometimes they can confuse you and they take you on the wrong side.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't trust anybody when you are moving around. Just be careful the way how you handle people, the way how you answer people, the way how they question you and how you answer them. So you need to be very careful.
And do we have a deadline set for the Ugandans here in Uganda, those who are going to travel with you for the UNA convention? Have you set any deadline in regards to preparations, registrations, and getting ready to travel?
Yeah, but here they will not be moving around with me, because for me I have to go before time to arrange for them and to wait for them.
Okay.
Sometime I have to go and wait for them at the airport and take them to the venue. Yeah.
And if we were to look at the figure that you're looking at as the organizers, do you have a specific figure of, let's say, about 100 people, 50 people, or are there clusters of, let's say, private sector government officials that we're expecting at the convention?
No, government officials permitted. What we do, write. Let's say we can write to the parliament, we write to the speaker to send a good number of people, those whom we feel they can be able to support them. And we can write to different ministry, like ENIRA. We write to them because we want our people to get the IDs. We write to Minister of Internal Affairs because of so many things we need, like this issuing of the passport and the rest. So we write to the ministry, those we feel they will be of beneficial to our side. And
okay, and when it comes to the participants, let's say from Uganda, do we have a specific figure that you're looking at?
No. We don't have a specific figure. That one depends on how many people can get a visa.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't mind which number, because we can be able to handle any number which can come in.
According to what you receive the other side.
Wait for the visa, for the embassy. How many people has we been able to give the visa?
Well, and to your dear viewer, the UNA convention of 2024 will be held in Washington, D.C. From the 30th of August to the 2nd of September. for the the Uganda North American Association. And for those of you who have been part of the previous conventions, this is a high time for you to also prepare for this specific one of 2024, which edition will be hosted in Washington. And well, also when you look at the fact that you're supposed to be having quite a number of documents, including your visa, including your passport, a valid passport, you also have to carry with you passport photos, which should have been taken 6 months before you travel, if I'm to break it down for you in that way. And then also you should have a letter that will grant you the chance to travel at the airport, and that is an invitation letter coming in from the party that is sponsoring you. It can be a parent, it can be a relative, it can be a sibling, or someone or a colleague who is in the US, Washington.
And that one is very, 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 very important, a recommendation letter.
Okay.
Because it has to show that whomever is recommending you, he will be able to sponsor you. Let's say, if you say, my brother is going to take care of me in terms of finance, he might not be capable of doing so. He can say, me and my uncle, we are going to help this person.
Okay. Let's look into some issues raised by the Ugandans here. You know, we've looked at the issues raised by the Ugandans living abroad, of how their money, or, you know, how they are mishandled at the airport. Let's now look at the issues raised by the Ugandans who normally travel for the convention. Has there been any issues that they've raised before that you're looking into as the convention organizers?
No, this mishandling, I've not been seeing it. It's only once when one of our Colonel Musisi came to Entebbe International Airport.
Yeah, the video that was trending.
Yeah, he was mishandled in the way of which I cannot explain well now. But of course, I've not been seeing any mishandling at the airport, unless that one happened once. And if so, then I would advise those people who are doing it not to do it again. Because as you said, children do come to UNA, youth come to UNA, women comes to UNA, and so many others. And those who are traveling for the first time, if you mishandle him, really, it looks very bad if they can do so.
And do we have some issues that have been raised by the Ugandans who are living here, but travel to UNA? Have you noted any? Have there been concerns raised to you, the organizers, in the last few years or months?
Yeah, the only thing which I've been seeing, like me, I'm just a special envoy to guide people of how to come to the convention. But it's only that at times you hear people say, I want to take my children for studies. I'm not responsible for that. Or I want to go and work in the US. I'm not responsible for that. So people should be careful. When they want to go for UNA, they should know that they are going there for a business of 1 week and come back to Uganda. But when they go and they decide to stay there, that one blocks chances for others.
Okay, and you know, traveling, in most cases, when you're traveling away from your country, you may not experience the same, you know, kind of freedom that you have. For those who are going to be traveling, let me just say, what kind of warning or caution can you give to them? You know, you mentioned earlier that once you reach the other side, you're also supposed to be permitted first to get into the country.
Yes.
Now, you know, what kind of message can you send as a caution to those who will be traveling? In form of a warning, maybe, and the do's and don'ts once they land in there.
So if you are traveling to another country, you have to make sure that you don't move with unnecessary things. You find somebody's moving with this toy, pistol toy and everything, all that can cause you problems. So what is next? Make sure that you get guidance and move with things which you are supposed to move with. Most documents. Be careful. And don't make sure that you don't get favors from any other person to help you. He can say, oh, help me with my suitcase when there's something wrong. Whomever is found with that suitcase is the one who will be, you'll be the one who will be in charge to answer whatever is in that suitcase.
Okay.
So don't take chances of helping your friend because you never know what he's carrying in his bag.
Okay. And I do have a comment coming in from Ogwang David Cosmos in Abim. He says, GMU, thanks for the program. My question is, how do I become a member of UNA? Thanks. He's in Abim.
Yeah, you cannot become a member unless you are a citizen of US.
Oh.
Yeah, but you can participate. He can fully participate in everything. But members are those peoples in the US.
Okay. And just to quickly remind the viewer that UNA represents Uganda North American Association. So that means you're supposed to be living in the US or working in the US to be a member of UNA. But like Mr. Kiza has put it, you can participate and make sure that you always attend these UNA convention editions every other year. So if you can also take us just back for the viewer to fully understand what they need to have as we are moving in, if you can, as we will be having this on the screen, if you can get through the general required documents for all our viewers to fully get to understand, as you can see on the screen, our dear viewer.
Yeah. So this is current, of course, you need a passport, as we said before, and that passport should be a valid passport. So don't simply get a passport from other. You make sure that you get that passport from Minister of Internal Affairs. Don't send people to get your passport. They will give you a Chichupuli passport, and it won't help you. It can even cause you problem. Passport containing most recent issued visa, because if you get a visa of not recent, automatically you will not be allowed to enter the country, and of course you cannot go through Entebbe airport. Normal grant application form, that one you need DS. That is the one I told you when you pay the money at the Centenary Bank. You need that one to have it. Confirmation form. This confirmation form is very, very, very important. Because if you don't have it, this kind of form,
okay.
If you don't have it, they will not attend to you.
Okay.
So you sincerely need it. I talked about this small pitch, which is 5 by 5 centimeter and 2 by 2 inches.
Okay.
That one, you need it because they need it to put in your passport when they are issuing the visa to you. And of course, accompanying family members, let's say I have my children, I'm traveling with them, I have to make sure that they have the proper documents which will allow them and the reason why they are going and how they are going to stay. So that one, and the one which we forgot, when you are to go, you have to make sure that you book where you are going to stay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't simply go and say that I'll be sleeping to a friend or to one. No, that one will not help you.
Okay.
And so that is what I would think.
All right. Now, as we're summing up with our conversation this morning, what would be your parting shots? One to the Ugandans living in the US or in the diaspora, and then for the Ugandans here who want to participate in the convention this year.
You mean those who want to participate? The Ugandans, of course.
Everyone.
No, whomever who wants to participate, automatically he goes through the same system. And for Ugandans, you have a long process. But for those who are in the US, you just pay the money for the convention, the 270. Okay. Then you go and attend.
And of course, to you, our dear viewer, there you have it. If you want to participate and be part of the UNA Convention this year, it will be taking place from the 30th of August to 2nd September. And this year's edition will be held in Washington, D.C.
But with that now, they might be late for those who want to go now. Because now the appointment you can get is in 2-5. Maybe you are preparing for the next year. It might be late.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And there you have it. My guest this morning has been Kiza Zephania Seninde, who is the senior envoy to Uganda for the Uganda North American Association. He was giving us the roadmap preparation. And he says for those who are applying now, it might be too late for you. So that means you should be may be applying in for next year, for next year's conversion. And the dates and details for next year will as well be addressed. But as of now, what we do know is that 30th August to the 2nd of September, this very year is when the UNA convention will be taking place in Washington. We are looking at the preparations for that. Good morning. Coming up is Ruben Pima with the latest from sports.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.